There is a strange familiarity in the way your thoughts return to the same places. It happens the moment you wake, before the eyes fully focus, before the body leaves the bed. The weight of who you are settles back onto you. Not loudly, not dramatically, just predictably. It feels like putting on a coat you have worn 1,000 times. The shape of it is already molded to your shoulders. The pockets are exactly where your hands expect them to be. You do not have to decide how to feel today. The decision has seemingly been made for you, by memory, by habit, by a silent momentum that carried over from yesterday. Certain reactions arrive before you notice them forming. A tightness in the chest when you think of a specific task. A dull comfort when you retreat to a specific silence. Certain emotions feel rehearsed, as if they already know their role. They step onto the stage of your mind without waiting for a cue. They recite lines you have heard for years. You recognize yourself not because something is true, but because it is consistent. The mind moves along grooves it has traveled many times before, like water finding a riverbed. It does not ask if this is the best path. It only knows it is the path of least resistance. A thought appears, followed by another that feels inevitable. If thought A occurs, thought B must follow. The logic is circular, but it feels solid. A response emerges, already justified. You feel a flash of irritation, and instantly a reason appears to explain it. But the reason often comes second. The irritation was simply the groove. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels chosen. It just is. You may believe this continuity is proof of identity, that the repetition of inner states means there is something stable underneath them, something solid, something immovable, something called me. We trust this feeling. We trust it because it creates a coherent world. If you woke up and reacted differently to everything, it would be terrifying. So the mind ensures you remain the same. Yet there is a quiet tension in this familiarity. If you listen closely to the silence between thoughts, there is a sense that awareness arrives slightly too late.
As if life has already reacted before consciousness steps in. As if you are watching a recording of yourself rather than living it live. Moments pass, and later they are remembered as how I am. I am an anxious person. I am a solitary person. I am a driven person. Not as events that happened once, not as movements that passed through, but as traits, as architecture. The feeling is subtle, almost comfortable, like a room with the curtains drawn. And because it is comfortable, it is rarely questioned. We mistake the walls we built for the horizon. What you call you is not a fixed entity. It is not a statue standing in the center of your mind. It is a pattern of self-referencing processes. It is a verb, not a noun. The mind does not experience itself directly. It cannot see itself, just as an eye cannot see itself without a mirror. So it infers itself through repetition. It looks at the history of what you have done. It looks at the history of what you have felt. And it draws a circle around those things. Each reaction that repeats becomes evidence. I did this yesterday, so I will likely do it today. I felt this fear before, so this situation must be dangerous. Each familiar emotional arc becomes confirmation. The more you feel it, the more real it seems. The more real it seems, the more you feel it. Over time, continuity is mistaken for essence. You begin to believe the pattern is the soul, but it is only a habit of neural firing. This is how identity forms, not as a core, but as a loop. Let us trace the loop slowly. A stimulus appears, a name on a screen, a tone of voice, a change in the weather. The nervous system responds in a familiar way. It retrieves a saved file. It triggers a chemical cascade that matches the past. The response is noticed afterward. You feel the heat in your face. You feel the withdrawal in your stomach. A label is applied. This is the crucial moment. The mind says, "This is my anxiety," or "This is my anger." It claims the reaction. It signs your name to it. The label reinforces expectation. Now the system is primed. It is looking for more reasons to feel this way. It scans reality to find evidence that supports the label. Expectation shapes the next response. The loop tightens. The groove deepens. This process is efficient. Biology loves efficiency. Thinking a new thought is expensive. Feeling a new emotion is risky. Using a stored pattern reduces uncertainty. It allows rapid orientation in social and emotional environments. You know who you are in a conflict. You know who you are in a crowd. You know your lines. But it also removes freshness. It removes the possibility of the present moment.
The consequences of this mechanism are not loud crashes. They are a slow accumulation of dust. The first consequence is subtle narrowing. The world effectively becomes smaller. Options do not disappear. They simply stop being perceived. The brain stops serving them up as possibilities. Certain emotional ranges become inaccessible, not because they are forbidden, but because they are unfamiliar. If you have identified as serious for 20 years, the neural pathway for play is overgrown. It is hard to find. It feels unnatural. The system favors what it already knows. It prefers a familiar sadness to an unfamiliar joy. It prefers a familiar stress to an unfamiliar peace. Because the familiar is predictable, and the predictable is safe. Spontaneity feels risky, not because it is dangerous, but because it does not fit the pattern. It feels like a violation of the self-model. So you pull back. You stay in character. The second consequence is delayed awareness. This is the sense of living in an echo. You notice reactions after they have already shaped interaction. The harsh word is spoken. The defensive posture is taken. The bridge is burned. And only then does the conscious mind arrive to assess the damage. Words leave the mouth before intention arrives. Emotions settle before being examined. The machinery runs on autopilot, and you are the passenger taking notes. Life feels lived slightly behind itself. There is a lag, a gap between the event and your presence in it. You are always catching up to your own history. The third consequence is exhaustion without obvious cause. We often wonder why we are tired, even when we have done nothing physically demanding. But maintaining a pattern requires constant reinforcement. There is effort in staying the same, a tremendous invisible tension, like a muscle that is always clenched.
Yet because this effort is constant, it is invisible. We do not notice the clenching, we only notice the ache. Fatigue is attributed to circumstances, not structure. We blame the job, we blame the traffic, we blame the noise. But the fatigue is structural. It is the cost of carrying a heavy identity. Over time, a quiet dissonance emerges, a background hum of dissatisfaction, a sense that something is happening but not being touched. You are present but not available. You are there, but you are wrapped in layers of prediction. Stable but not open. Protected but isolated. The pattern holds. It works perfectly. And in holding, it limits. It keeps the unknown out. But it also keeps the life out. There is nothing wrong with patterns. This is not an indictment. It is not a flaw in your design. They are not errors. They are solutions that once worked. They are how you survived. They are how you navigated a complex world. But awareness changes their role. The moment you see the loop, you are no longer completely inside it. When a pattern is seen as a pattern, it loses its authority to define. It becomes an object of observation rather than the subject of your life. It continues, the wheel keeps turning, but it no longer speaks as absolute truth. You do not need to destroy the loop. You do not need to fight it. Fighting the pattern is often just another pattern. I am the person who fights myself is just another groove. You do not need to replace it. There is no better you waiting to be installed. Only to notice when it is running. To catch that fraction of a second when the reaction starts. To feel the familiar tightness. To hear the familiar script. And in that noticing, there is a tiny space. Between stimulus and response, there is sometimes a pause so brief it is almost imaginary. But it exists. It is the only place where the groove is broken. Not as control. You do not control the thought appearing. Not as freedom. You are still shaped by your past. As presence. A neutral, silent witnessing. And presence does not announce itself. It has no story. It has no history. It does not claim identity. It does not say, "This is me." It simply watches the pattern move. It watches the you construct itself again. It sees the machinery. And because it sees the machinery, it is not the machinery.